Welcome to beautiful Islip Beach in Islip Town. It's great to be here on a great fall day in the Great South Bay. One of the great privileges of living in the town of Islip, and certainly on Long Island, is the ability, no matter how bad your day is, to drive down to the bay and look at that. It's one of the great blessings we have, and the town of Islip is very privileged to have councilmen and a councilwoman and board members who are committed not only to our town, but also committed to being good stewards of the Great South Bay.
The Great South Bay has probably the most pristine waters for growing oysters in the world. And I know right now that the oysters that we growing in the bay that we started to sell are probably, in my opinion, they're the finest oysters in the world. And if you bring them to a chef, if you bring them to a restaurant, if you bring them to people that eat oysters, they're going to tell you, these are the best I've ever had. And that's what we have now. And the Great South Bay in the early 1900s was probably the biggest economy in the United States, just the oyster business alone. It went away, and we're going to bring it back. And you're going to bring it back because you have officials that are going to work with you. You have baymen that love the bay, they respect the bay. My farm right now is filtering about 30 million, probably more than 30 million gallons of water a day. It's reducing the carbon footprint. It's a green project. It's a good project. But it does require work. You have to go out there and work it and have fun. And you know, God bless everybody who gets involved in this project. This is a good project. It's strong. It's good for our neighbors. It's good for our restaurants. It's good for our local economy. And, you know, it's good for your health. Oysters are really, really healthy for you.
We spend a lot of time with our senior citizens, and we hear stories about how the bay used to be when they were growing up, how clean the water was, how many different kinds of fish were in the bay. It's a wonderful thing to hear Doug Winter talk about what it's like out there on the leasehold, out there farming, that the water is so clear it looks like the Caribbean now, and there are different kinds of fish species that we haven't seen around lately. So these are all good signs, and at the same time, the oysters themselves, as somebody who's eaten oysters, are beautiful. And wherever you go in the world, Blue Point oysters are well known, and the Long Island oysters are something that's known the world over. So we hope that in the coming years, we once again are blessed with the stories of this beautiful, clean bay, translucent waters, as well as the reputation of the Blue Point, the Long Island oyster, resurgent on Long Island.
I think it's a new generation of looking at the stewardship of this bay. The bay bottom lease is one part of the hatchery, getting the oysters out to the shallows of the Sexton Island, and letting the oysters start cleaning the bay up, and letting these business people run a farm and make some money as a small business, because it does not just help out the person who's got the bay bottom lease. There's going to be boats. They're going to need to be maintained. They're going to be gas. So these people are going to be using gas docks. Also buying their product and selling the product. So I envision this in about 3 or 4 years that the supervisor and all of us on the board will have our Town of Islip Oyster Fest and beat out Oyster Bay for theirs. And it's just a win-win-win any way you look at it.